Welcome to another video of J230. Today we're talking about why we decided to move back in with my parents after having a baby and being married for, at the time, 3.5 years. Thank you, Khadijah, for suggesting this video idea.
Shout out Khadij.
It's a really good one. I think a lot of people in their adult stage have either moved out and just the way that the world is financially are deciding to move back in but have some reservations, and maybe there's people who are now living with their parents and are considering moving out for whatever reason. So we're just here to give our input and how the experience went and how the transition is kind of going. So we got married in 2021.
Yeah.
Luke was living with his parents, I was living with mine, and this would have been our first time moving out on our own aside from college.
Yeah.
So we lived in a one-bedroom apartment with one garage parking, in-unit laundry, water was free, we just paid up for electric. So in 2021, our rent was $1,750, right?
Yeah.
Which was a great price. This was post-pandemic. We were like $1,750, bet we could do this. Year 2 comes along and we anticipated our rent to go up, but it went up,
It went up
to $1,950?
Because our first lease that we did, we knew we wanted to be in the apartment for a while, so we did a year and a half. So we did an 18-month lease. So it went from June 21 all the way to the end of 2022. So in 23, we're like, oh yeah, it's gonna go up, but
which still isn't terrible.
No. For sure, we got raises at that point too. Yeah. We were making slightly more money anyways. Obviously, cheaper is better, but
that was fine.
Yeah.
At that time, we were also kind of thinking we'd be there for an additional year and, God willing, be able to find a house that we can move into. Because one thing we did not want to do is move from apartment to apartment. And this apartment that we lived in was beautiful. It was in the center of our town, and
we're the very first people to live in it.
Yeah, it was a new build. We were the first tenants in our unit. Did we figure out we were having a baby towards the end? We figured out we were having a baby after we had signed our lease for another year.
Yeah, so this is 2024.
2024.
We started, and it went up again. This time from $1,950 to $2,250, so another $300. So within 2.5 years, we've gone from $1,750 to $2,250. So $500 more, $6,000 more a year.
Which is not the typical for a lot of people.
No.
I feel like it's usually like $50 to $100, like we said earlier. But the increases have been significant, and we were toying around with the idea of moving back in with our parents, but we were saying it jokingly, and then we figured out that we were having a baby, and we were really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Me more so than Luke. The money just wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to get a house. We really want to get a house. That's our desire. And paying $2,250 in rent just felt like a lot. Yeah, it felt like a lot of money just kind of going into the garbage. I do not like renting. I think it's a great first step for a first-time couple to figure out each other, figuring out habits. You don't have to worry about if something's broken and like having to outsource a vendor to come fix it. If our washer or our dryer or our AC wasn't working, it was a simple call to get things fixed. And I think that's a stressor that you don't want to have in your first year of marriage. Not to say that a first year of marriage is difficult in any other way, but it's one thing that you can kind of avoid. But also, if you have the ability to buy a home in your first year of marriage, have at it. So I was thinking about moving back in for a long time before I even brought it up to Luc, because we're in our own space. Luc loves to hang out with the boys online and play 2K, and we're both like homebodies who love having people over, and we knew that transitioning back to my parents would change that, obviously, dramatically. So that took some prayer and thought and much consideration and conversation. And Luc was hesitant in the beginning, rightfully so. But after a couple months, I think you kind of turned around.
Yeah, I saw the bigger picture. At the end of the day, this is Flo's childhood, whatever. Flo grew up in this house. I didn't necessarily grow up in this house. These are my parents, obviously my parents-in-law, but they've never like had to live in the same house as me. So I'm like, I'm not to tiptoe around. I don't want to get on people's nerves or put myself in places where it's like I'm not comfortable or anything. I was kind of in my own head about that. But once we knew we were having baby girl, all those like superficial thoughts kind of decimated, and I was like, all right, what am I going to do to help propel our family forward?
You're right. Which I commend you for, honey, because it's not easy as a man to not feel like you're providing for your family in that way. Not to say that, you don't provide in any other form, but I feel like as a man, that could be a difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
So the pros outweighed the cons for sure.
For sure. And we still thought about even till the last second, we could do one more year. Blah, blah, blah.
We could have made it shake, but it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So we decided we had our baby in November. We wanted to finish out the year in our apartment, finish out the holidays. So we officially moved out on January 31st. January 31st.
We gave ourselves one more month so that we could just not have to move out on New Year's and middle of Christmas and stuff. So we pushed it out one more month. We had to pay the new price, what they were gonna charge us $2,400 a month. But we were like, all right, they're tripping.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. And mainly why it wasn't worth it to us was because we weren't getting an extra parking. There wasn't a gym in our unit. There wasn't a pool. We had no amenities.
No barbecue space, no grill.
So it didn't really make sense, especially adding a newborn into our space. It just wasn't shaking. I think another really big thing that has to be talked about with moving in with your parents is everybody in the house willing to have you back? Because there are some couples who are like, I would come back, but no one's willing to maybe change rooms or I don't know, just they're just not down for changing their own environment or their own space. Because my mom had to get rid of the china that we haven't used in 15 years out of some kitchen cabinets to make space for bottles, and we had to rearrange closet space and change our linen closet because we had linens, and figuring out where Luc's sneakers would go. So everyone in the house kind of has to be on one accord and be willing to make space for you
and adjust,
right? Because especially you haven't been in this home for X amount of years.
You've been gone for 3 years at the time?
Yeah. And as first-time parents, I think having that 3 months on our own in our own space was great because we were able to build her routine, figuring out what it's like to have a baby,
building confidence
as new parents. We have saved $16,000 since moving in. Month by month, how much we're saving is, what number did you give me? $2,800.
About $2,800.
And that's not in addition to like what we were saving monthly. So this is like strictly our rent that we were saving, and
our rent,
our potential
cable.
rent is high. So that's how much we're saving. We're saving, yeah, we're just saving a lot of money. Another thing before I get into the questions is sometimes we don't want to make shifts in our lives that feel very, very uncomfortable. And this was a very, very uncomfortable thing for us to do and decide to do. Hindsight, looking back, it's like, all right, no brainer. Of course we moved back in with our parents. But in the time, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm dreading it. Like, I was like crying about it. I was like, I don't want to move. Like, I love my own space. We love our own space. We love like having people over and doing all this random stuff. And not to say that we can't do it here, but it's just different.
Yeah, more people to consider.
Exactly. But hindsight, moving back here was probably the best thing for our family, because after having our baby, Luke was able to get some paternity leave.
3 months.
And then after that had ended, he was unfortunately laid off from his job. So now there's only one income, and I can't even imagine trying to pay what they were asking for in rent with a newborn baby, and technically me still being on maternity leave.
So like that first 3 months that we were here.
Right. It would have been
4 months.
It would have been tough. I'm sure we would have figured it out by God's grace, but it would have been tough. So whatever you're feeling or whatever nudge you have, talk to people who are above you and have more knowledge and wisdom. Pray about that decision, because if you're thinking about it and you can't shake the idea, maybe it's something that you should, move towards. And we have got rid of so much debt, even with Luke not having a job currently.
Yeah.
It's this miraculous. So God moves in an amazing, amazing way. So let's get into the questions. How do you keep boundaries with our parents? I don't think boundaries is an issue. Do you think we have an issue?
No.
I don't think we had an issue with boundaries or have one. My mom works really often. Like, she's out of the house like Tuesday to Friday from 3 to 11. So, and my dad works from like 5 a.m. to like mid-afternoon.
3, 4, he goes straight to take a nap. So.
Right. Most of the time we're here on our own. Every other weekend, all of us are here, which can sometimes be a lot, and we'll just find an activity to do outside. But if you're concerned about boundaries, the biggest thing in any relationship to set boundaries is to communicate.
Yep.
What do you not want them to be involved in? What do you want them to chime in on? Like, you just have to communicate it.
Communicate.
It could be really difficult with Haitian parents or foreign parents to kind of voice your concerns. But at the end of the day, I've learned that they are more receiving of what we say, as long as we just say it.
Yeah.
When no one asked this question, but I'll talk about it. What is it like being a married couple and having sex in a house filled with like your parents? I think we respect the home, obviously. We don't have the freedom to do it whenever, wherever. But there's, like we said, there's times where people aren't home, and if we have to stay up later, we'll stay up later. If we have to wake up earlier, we'll wake up earlier. I'll leave it at that. If that's a priority in your marriage, you'll make it work while respecting the household. No one asked a question, but I'm sure
you're welcome.
People are curious. How do you contribute to the household? My mom and dad did not ask to contribute in any way. That's our parents. I think that's pretty common for a lot of foreign parents, to not really have their child pay rent or what have you. But what we decided to do was pay a few bills. So we paid the gas bill, and we will be taking on the electric bill because my brother will no longer be here. Obviously, the day-to-day, week-to-week, if she needs something at the grocery store, if, you know, she needs gas, like, we'll obviously contribute in that way. But I think do whatever works for you and your family. If they're asking for rent, I'm sure it's not going to be what you're going to be paying some landlord, but
Facts.
just...
They're not going to be asking for $2,500.
Yeah, I think you should consider paying something towards your parents. I think that's just honoring them and your space and thanking them for allowing you back in. Being new and working parents, how did you guys balance sleep with the newborn?
Ooh. We were both on leave.
Yeah,
but
at the same time.
Now that we're parents, we know being a parent is a job anyway. So I'm going to take it as I'm working full time because I am. We had a schedule. Whenever the baby napped, essentially Flo napped too. I kind of followed a similar, I guess, awake window schedule that I was doing before she was born. But we knew that around 9, 10 o'clock, Flo was going to bed. She was going to bed and she was going to sleep for anywhere from 4 to maybe 7, 8 hours. Some was smaller, some were wider. Since the beginning, has always been a pretty great baby. She would she'd take her naps. I mean, in the beginning, baby sleep for like 2-3 hours anyways, but she would sleep, and when she woke up, she would take a bottle, change a diaper change, and she'd go right back to sleep.
It's baby per baby. Some babies are more of a quieter baby. Some of them are more tearful and just need more attention. So in that newborn stage of newborn to 3 months, there's no real routine. It's just following your baby's cues. And when their eyes are closed, your eyes should be closed. Don't get so tied up in your baby's sleep in those first 3 months because it's all over the place, and just sleep
it changes.
when you can.
Yeah, facts.
And lean on family members. I didn't do that as much because I'm just stuck at that, but if you're able to, lean on them for that. What's one of the best parts about spending more time with your parents?
I guess it's more your question.
Yeah, I never thought about it. I think I used to, even when I didn't live at home, I saw my parents pretty often. We lived in the same town.
Yeah.
And now we just live in the same home. So our relationship, we have more time to talk.
I guess I've got to talk to your parents more.
Yeah.
For sure, because I mean, like I would come over here, but I was never here for hours on hours on hours. And what I realized, I usually sit at the dining table upstairs. Flo's mom's always cooking, so me and her be chatting like we gotta have no choice unless we have our moments where we sit in silence, but I talk to her every day now.
Yeah. So it's been nice. We've gotten closer to my brother because he'll just come upstairs whenever he's not
or we'll
working
go down
and just kind of chill. So it's been nice seeing them more often physically. Did you battle any feelings of guilt/shame with making this transition? I don't think we felt any shame. I think in the back of my mind, I was like, dang, we're moving backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah.
Like, we really wanted a house, and now we're back in our childhood home for me. And it's just not something that we had in mind, truthfully.
Yeah. When we left, we thought we were done. Like, we're moving out and we're done. We're not coming back.
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't call it shame, but I would say that it was a lingering thought of, dang, we're not where we thought we would be at the time we thought we would be. So, but we have since then got over it. Sometimes that does creep up when you see, your friends moving out and getting homes and doing all the things that you desire. But in those moments, you just have to celebrate them, because if it's happening around you, your turn is coming. And God doesn't forget your desires. So I think we're in a perfect space to kind of reframe our mindset and our goals and figuring out what our next move is and what the smartest move is financially and for our family. So that thought was there, but it is now a distant memory. All right, we're going to speed this up. What is the biggest catalyst that led to the transition?
Our baby, if we're being honest. I think we might have, if we had not had her, we might have been in that apartment for 1 year.
Yeah. What's our timeline in this space? Originally, we had said 6 months. And
I think we were just being impatient.
Yeah, we didn't expect this transition to be as not dramatic
or stressful or a
headache. I won't say that some days like I want to crawl out of my skin because I'm so annoyed and I just want my own space. But most days, 6 out of the 7 days of the week, I'm fine. Our timeline now is whenever it's financially makes sense. Yeah.
But like we said, we've paid off 3
big
2-person.
Yeah.
We paid off a car and we paid off 2 other big chunks of debt. So though we might be here a little longer than we probably anticipated, we are clearly making strides that we probably wouldn't have hit at this same time point had we had been at the apartment. So, and we're still saving while doing this too. So we're saving and we're hitting more debt at a rapid, way higher rate than we were when we were at the apartment. So,
and that's without a full salary.
We're not at our 2 full salaries like we used to be.
Yeah. So we don't have a timeline, but I think that's definitely something as a couple, or if you're by yourself trying to move back in with your parents, need to discuss, because that gives you an end goal and could kind of set you at a steady pace with savings and whatever other goal you have with moving back in. So as a new pops, the man, the provider, how have you been prioritizing your mental health?
I'm not working, so I'm here with baby girl all day, every day. And I'm having a blast because I'm realizing too that I normally wouldn't have this much time with her if I had been working. So I'm able to see more of her developmental growth and stuff like that throughout the day more. But I've been playing basketball, try to go out, going to the movies, we have another couple, the Bennetts. We've been hanging out with them a lot. The Fikiers, the soon-to-be Josephs, a lot of our friends. There's more, many and more, but hanging out with them. Try not to be isolated in this time because there's a lot of things that can creep up on you that if you don't address it, you don't know what type of spiral you're gonna put yourself into. So I try to stay up with my friends, my boys, my siblings, with Flo. I try our best to, obviously you realize it's a little harder in the beginning of a baby to have those quote unquote date nights, but as she's growing, we're obviously a lot more free to leave her with the grandparents and go out, or even take her with us to certain things where before she didn't have her shots, we might not want to. So I'm just making sure that I'm happy with everything that's going on around me and making sure that I'm not doing the things that I like. I'm trying to do everything still. Obviously, a baby puts a different aspect on it, but if you prioritize yourself and the things you want to do, then you'll in turn be happy, and then you can make your wife and your child happy. So,
and as a wife, this question wasn't geared towards me, but I think knowing your partner or your husband or whatever, if it was vice versa, because I think this could be inverted.
Yeah.
Just know your person. I know that Luke is someone who loves to work and needs to be out of the house. So on my days off, I'll be like, hey, you can go, like you said, go to the movies or go watch the game at wherever or whomever's house and just kind of chill. So as a wife too, definitely keep your eyes out for them. And sometimes they may not listen to you and you have to reach out to their boy and just be like, yo, do you want to check on so-and-so. And thank you to all of the friends that do reach out to us separately and together, and our parents group chat, and just our church family or other moms or other dads, because it's so important to have a community who are supporting your goals and are pushing you to do better and just be better in this season. So I think those are all the questions. Luke's catching a leg cramp, and I have to go to sleep to work a night shift. And our daughter's waking up. So thank you for your questions, and I hope this was insightful.
My leg.
And yeah, move back in if you can.
Yeah.
If you can't, get a financial advisor or a mentor or someone that you look up to who can help you with your finances.
For sure.
Or
build a community.
Build a community of people who are like-minded and
in a similar season as you too sometimes.
Yeah. It's not impossible to buy a home. It's not impossible to be debt-free. It's just a matter of faith and prayer and what else? Consistency, all the things. So
routine, habit, but bottom line, God.
Yeah, that is the bottom line. So we're out, Journey230. I hope you guys like this video, and if you want to chime in on your experience as someone moving in or moving out, comment below and we will reach out. Bye.
Deuce.
Another pro. We don't pay for groceries, so I'm thinking about that number, and that's probably an additional $200-$300 that we're saving a month because, well, like I said earlier, Flo's mom's cooking all the time, so we're not paying for groceries. Besides the stuff that we maybe ourselves want, like more protein powder or anything like that. But yeah, being here, it literally comes with so many benefits. So if you're looking to live at home and your parents are cooks, can cook, or just like to have their fridge full all the time, that's a benefit because they're naturally going to increase it with your presence being here. And even if they don't, you're still saving so much money that if you want to buy your own groceries, it really isn't that big of a deal. What's $3,000 a month compared to $300?
Another thing I forgot to talk about is the benefit of living with our parents is that we don't have to pack up our daughter every time we want to go out. And if we need to like run to the grocery store, we can just say, hey, Granddad, what in the...
You say that, that's her grandpa.
Our daughter's grandpa. We can just be like, hey, can you watch her real quick? Or if we want to go on a date night, it's not this big ordeal. It's more of communicating when we're leaving, not so much when we're coming back, because we don't do that. So it's easier for us to transition out of the house with her, and she's in her own space. She's familiar with this home and the people, and their relationship has grown. Yeah, you like grandma and grandpa and uncle, and they're able to grow their relationship. So that's really a really big plus with living here.
They also buy stuff for her all the time.
Yeah,
that we can save coins on.
I very rarely have to buy diapers and milk and any other random thing that I need because they notice it.
Because they like how cute it looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are the benefits if you have a baby and are considering moving back home. It is a great help with your grandparents living here. Yeah. You like being here? And she has her own room, so that's a plus. All right.